IXL section P.1, identify arithmetic and geometric sequences. Alright, so first of all, let's go over what each type is. An arithmetic sequence is a sequence where you're adding the same number over and over again. Okay, now I put two examples here. In the first one, you're starting with number 12 and the sequence is going 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32. In that sequence, you're adding 4 to each number. You're adding 4 to each number. Now, the second example I put is using a negative number, because you could also add a negative number. Adding a negative number is the same as subtracting 5. Let me say that better. Adding a negative number is the same as subtracting that number. All right, so this sequence is going 20, 15, 10, 5, 0, negative 5, negative 10. Obviously, your first instinct should be to say that you're subtracting 5 each time, which is correct. You're subtracting 5 each time. Another way to say that is that you're adding negative 5 each time. They're both correct, all right? Let me say that real quick in Spanish. Así que en este ejercicio tenemos dos tipos de secuencias diferentes. Ok, el primero, una secuencia aritmética, es cuando se está sumando el mismo número cada vez. Así que puse dos ejemplos. En el primer ejemplo, estamos sumando el número 4 cada vez. Así que 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32. Eso es una secuencia aritmética porque se está sumando 4 cada vez. También se puede sumar un número negativo. Por ejemplo, sumar negativo 5 cada vez. Eso es lo mismo que restar 5 cada vez. Así que 20, 15, 10, 5, 0, negativo 5, negativo 10. Sí, estamos restando 5 cada vez, o también se puede decir que estamos sumando negativo 5 cada vez. Es la misma cosa. Alright, the other type of sequence is a geometric sequence. In a geometric sequence, you're multiplying by the same number over and over again. Okay, now I put 3 different types of examples. The first one is the easiest, where it's going 2, 6, 18, 54, 162. If you know your timetables from the first 3 numbers, you should realize that you're multiplying by 3 each time. Now, you could also multiply by a negative number. For example, in my second example, I'm multiplying by negative 2 each time. Alright, so I start off with the number 5. 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. Negative 10 times negative 2 is positive 20. Positive 20 times negative 2 is negative 40. Negative 40 times negative 2 is positive 80. Positive 80 times negative 2 is negative 160. Notice that when you multiply by a negative number each time, it's switching from positive to negative to positive to negative to positive to negative. All right, so be aware of that. And the last example I put is you're multiplying by a fraction. Just keep in mind that, like, for example, for this example, I put an easy fraction if you're multiplying by 1/2 each time. I want you to realize, I think I've said this before, but if I haven't, when you multiply by 1/2, that's the same as dividing by 2. It's just, if you have a 1 on the top, it's the same as dividing by whatever number is on the bottom. All right, I say that because when you look at the sequence, the first thing you're going to probably realize is that you're dividing by 2 each time. 32 divided by 2 is 16. 16 divided by 2 is 8. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2, etc. Okay, and you go into the fractions, which I'll cover in one of the examples, all right? But just realize that dividing by 2 is the same as multiplying by 1/2. Let me just say that in Spanish and then we'll start looking at the examples. Una secuencia geométrica es cuando se está multiplicando el mismo número cada vez. Así que puse 3 ejemplos diferentes. El primer ejemplo es bien fácil. Cuando uno ve la secuencia 2, 6, 18, 54, 162, es obvio que no se está sumando el mismo número. Ok, y si se sabe en la tabla de multiplicación, se tiene que dar cuenta que se está multiplicando por 3 cada número. 2 por 3 es 6. 6 por 3 es 18. 18 por 3 te da 54, etc. Ok, el segundo ejemplo estoy enseñando que también se puede multiplicar por un número negativo cada vez. Así que si multiplico cada número por negativo 2, ok, fíjense que cada vez el signo cambia al signo opuesto. 5 por negativo 2 me da negativo 10. Negativo 10 por negativo 2 me da positivo 20. Positivo 20 por negativo 2 me da negativo 40. Negativo 40 por negativo 2 me da positivo 80, etc. Y en el último estoy enseñando que si se multiplica por una fracción, ok, puse una fracción fácil, 1 sobre 2. Si hay un 1 arriba de la fracción, ok, es lo mismo que dividir por el número que está abajo en el denominador. Ok, así que en este caso, multiplicar por 1 sobre 2 es igual que dividir por 2. 32 dividido por 2 es 16. 16 dividido por 2 es 8. 8 dividido por 2 es 4, etc. Y sigue y se convierte en fracciones que voy a explicar más en uno de los ejemplos que vienen. All right, let's look at the examples. All right, so this is the first example. Look at the sequence. All right, 75, 87, 99, 111. Okay, miren la secuencia de números. All right, you're adding 12 to each number. Se está sumando 12 a cada número. So it's arithmetic or arithmetic. That word, if you pronounce it like a noun, it's arithmetic. Like an adjective, it's arithmetic. So this one's arithmetic. You know what? Why am I writing it? Just go like this. All right, arithmetic or arithmetic. Okay, what kind of sequence is this? This one you should realize that you're multiplying 7 every time. Se está multiplicando por 7 cada número. So it's geometric. All right, look at this one. I put the answer there just so you can see. This one's both. Este es los dos. Okay, if you look at the sequence of numbers, 544, 544, 544, 544, that's the same number, el mismo número cada vez. All right, so that sequence, whatever. Okay, what number am I adding every time? I'm adding 0 every time. You can think about it that way. I'm adding the same number every single time, 0. Okay, estamos sumando el mismo número cada vez, 0. And I'm also multiplying by the same number every time. Let me write it like that. I'm multiplying by 1 every time. Okay, se está multiplicando por el mismo número cada vez también. Se está multiplicando por 1 cada vez. So that's why the answer is both. En este caso es los dos. It's both arithmetic and geometric. Arithmetic and geometric. Es los dos. All right, next example. What kind of sequence is this? I put the answer there already. No, neither. Okay? Ninguno de los dos. Neither. Okay? It's going 1, 2, 3, 5. That's neither. Okay, how about this one? All right, this one is you're subtracting by 2. No, I'm sorry. I said it wrong. This one is neither as well. This one's neither. Okay, because in the first one, you're subtracting by 2. In the second one, to go from the second term to the third term, you're subtracting by 4. And to go from the third term to the fourth term, you're subtracting by 6. Okay, so it's neither. Okay, cada vez se están restando por un número diferente. Menos 2, menos 4, menos 6. Así que no es el mismo número, así que no es ninguno de los dos. All right, what kind of sequence is this? Okay, on this one, you should realize that it is, let me think for 1 second. I just did this on IXL, but all right. So in the first one, when you're going from, by the way, let me go over how, if you don't know what number is being subtracted or added, how you could do it, right? How you could do it is like this. What you could do is this number, subtract this number minus the one before it, or this number minus the one before it, or this number minus the one before it. Okay, so if I do negative 101 minus the number before it, which is negative 117, pay attention to how I wrote that. Negative 101 minus the number before it. So there's two subtraction signs next to each other. All right, that would become this. All right, and the difference there is going to be, that's the same as 117 minus 101. The difference is going to be 16. All right, so what I'm doing here is I'm adding 16 to get from negative 117 to negative 101. Now I could add 16 to this number to see, will it give me that number right here? And yes, it does. You're adding 16 every time. You're adding 16 every time. Okay, negative, if you don't see that, negative 101 plus 16. All right, the answer is going to be negative, and all I do is subtract them to get the answer. All right, so it's negative 85. This will also help you review your adding and subtracting integers. Okay, but again, if I'm not sure about what number they're adding over and over again, I could subtract any number minus the number that came before it. Take any of these numbers and subtract it from the one that came directly before it. So do this, like this number minus negative 85, or negative 85 minus negative 101. ¿Ok? Si no están seguros cuál número, si se están sumando el mismo número cada vez, pueden restar cualquier número en la secuencia menos el número que viene directamente anterior de ese número. Así que negativo 101 menos negativo 117, que se tienen que fijar es que si hacen eso, van a tener menos un número negativo. Esos dos negativos se cambian a un positivo. ¿Ok? O negativo 85 menos negativo 101. O negativo 69 menos negativo 85. All right, moving on. What kind of sequence is this? Neither. All right, so there are some that the answer is neither. Este es ninguno de los dos. I already did this one. Ya hice este. I guess I put it in the review twice. Sorry about that. All right, what sequence is this? We already did one like this. This one's going to be both. Both. Because every time you're adding 0 every time and you're multiplying by 1 every time. Ya hicimos un ejemplo como este. La respuesta es los dos, porque cada vez se está sumando 0 y multiplicando por 1. All right, so this one, okay, is going to be, well, let me tell you how you can look at this one. From negative 32 to 32, it could be two possibilities. I could either be, let's put it like this. I could either be multiplying by negative, well, let me write it like this. Multiply by negative 1 to get that. Okay, but if I look at it, so negative 32 times negative 1 is positive 32. But when I go to the next one, 32 times negative 1 should be negative 32, and that's not what's there. So that it can't be that. Okay, no puede ser multiplicado por negativo 1, porque negativo 32 por negativo 1 sí me da positivo 32. Pero cuando voy del segundo término al tercero, 32 por negativo 1 no me da negativo 64, sería negativo 32, así que ese no puede ser. The other option is to go from negative 32 to positive 32 would be to add 64. Okay, that works as well, but when I try to check whether 32 plus 64 is the next term in the sequence, it's not. Look what's here. 32 plus 64, I didn't mean to do that, is 96. And that's not 96. Alright, so this is neither. No puede ser ninguno de los dos, porque si suma 64 cada vez, el tercer término sería 96. Alright, so it's neither. Alright, these are the types of questions you'll see in the challenge zone. They're easy. Okay, Nicole's restaurant makes, each year Nicole's restaurants, let me try that reading again. Each year, Nicole's restaurant makes 4 times as much money as the year before. 4 times whatever she had the year before. So that's multiplying by 4 every time. So it's going to be geometric. Cada año, el restaurante de Nicole gana 4 veces la cantidad de dinero que hicieron el año anterior. Así que 4 veces lo que tenían el año anterior. Cada vez están multiplicando por 4, así que es geométrico. All right, and I believe this is the last example, I think. All right, Kendall, for this section, Kendall makes $5 more per hour. So every hour she's making $5 more from the previous year. Okay, so that's going to be arithmetic. $5 more per hour. You could always invent an easy number and see that, okay, $5 more. Like if you start at 10, it would be 15, 20, 25. All right, so you could always make an easy number and start doing that if you're not sure. Okay, siempre pueden hacer un ejemplo sencillo usando un número fácil. Por ejemplo, si empiezo con 10 y cada vez es 5 más, sería 15, 20, 25. Y así se pueden dar cuenta de qué tipo de secuencia es. All right. Oh, I guess I got one more, maybe. Madeline spends somewhere between. Oh, okay, no, I got two more examples on this one, and then that's it for this section. Okay, Madeline spends somewhere between 8 and 51 minutes doing her math homework every day, depending on the assignment. So it depends on the assignment. It changes, it fluctuates. Okay, so if you write down the amount of time she spends each day, it changes. It's somewhere between 8 and 51, but it changes each day depending on the assignment. So it's neither. Right? Dice que Madeline pasa entre 8 y 51 minutos cada día haciendo la tarea de matemática. Depende de la tarea. Así que depende, la cantidad no es fija, cambia dependiendo en la tarea. Así que no es como si no se está multiplicando o sumando el mismo número en ninguno de los dos. Last example is the same as this one. El último ejemplo es la misma cosa. Dylan spends between 23 and 38 minutes getting ready for work each day, with the exact amount of time varying from day to day, varying. That means it changes. Okay, está variando cada día la cantidad de minutos que Dylan pasa preparándose para el trabajo. Así que ese va a ser ninguno, neither. All right, that's it for this section.